taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we are going to take a look at a replay in the New Orleans, and you can see once again I'm with Dorrej and one Mad Trucker. Now, of course, there haven't been videos in the past few days. If you recall, I had mentioned we were having some plumbing issues here at the house. We thought that those were fixed. No, they were not fixed. It got real messy. It was not pleasant. So much so that I actually couldn't stay at my house for a number of days while it was being dealt with. Anyway, everything is back up and running. I know that the poop jokes are just swirling in your head, so you can just go right ahead and get those out in the comments. I don't care. My recommendation is try not to shit bricks. But anyway, we are, oh yeah, that was one other thing. Puda had sent me a replay this morning, and he called me the toiletless wonder. Yeah, that's pretty great. Anyway, we are on Northern Lights, because it's all dark and we got the crazy lights in the sky. But anyway, in the New Orleans, and yes, obviously took out the scout plane off the New Orleans, the fighter plane, right, and put on the radar ability. Now, the radar ability is amazing. I do really enjoy it, and in fact I make excellent use of it as myself, Dorrej, and Trucker are making our way over here to A. So that was, you know, where we spawned as a division, so we figured out we may as well go over here to A and see what we can do. Looks like the majority of the team is going to be going C and B, so at the very least we are going to be within some sort of cover, and we'll be able to get some sort of support. Now, obviously, where I'm with two destroyers and I'm in a cruiser, specifically an AA cruiser, and there are two destroyers, two aircraft carriers on the enemy team. My whole job here is going to be, provide heavier support to the destroyers, but as well just to keep the enemy planes off of our destroyers, right, off Dorrej and Trucker here, because if the enemy aircraft carrier was on the ball, I guess, whatever is going on with the planes, eventually, the enemy aircraft carrier might start putting fighter planes over Dorrej and Trucker to keep them permanently spotted, and then that, of course, is where I come in to shoot down those planes, because we don't need that, don't want that at all. Now, Trucker actually pressed the wrong button there, and he didn't mean to pop smoke. But it worked out really well for me, because I was right behind him and I got to make use of that smoke a little there to fend off against the Nagato, because the Nagato is in the background there, and it is good. This player is going to be pretty much a thorn in our side, right? I'm not willing to get too close to the Nagato at all. Now, we can see some enemy aircraft are starting to harass Trucker and Dorrej, so I'm getting myself over here. We need to get these enemy aircraft down. I've already popped my defensive fire ability, which is great because I wanted to, shoot these guys down as much as I possibly could. I wasn't really in a great position there, though, when they did go in on their attack at Dorrej and Trucker, but I'm there now, and you can see, effectively shooting down enemy planes here, just getting these guys gone, making sure that my destroyers are as safe as they possibly can be. So we do have an enemy destroyer who has launched torpedoes. Luckily, I'm able to see these torpedoes. I really should have turned in there. I do manage to make it out, right, because I cut my throttle, so I don't actually get hit by any enemy torpedoes, but I think it would have been easier just to turn into the torpedoes. That being said, with that second spread that we see behind me, that second spread there might have caused me a bit of an issue. Who knows? Anyway, don't have to worry about it. It's all just speculation. We still do have the Nagato off in the distance, right? And again, this Nagato is a pretty big thorn in our side over here at A. I'm not willing to close the distance with the Nagato and to start trying to burn this Nagato down, not just yet anyway, right? I'm not going to go solo off against this Nagato here in my New Orleans. It's just not going to work out well. The Nagato is a pretty decent battleship, and she will just tear up this New Orleans here without any real issue at all, so I'm just not willing to do that. Plus, it's an American cruiser. I don't have my torpedoes, so if I do get in close, there's really nothing that I can sort of, last-ditch effort to launch off at the Nagato to guarantee that he gets killed or anything like that. So I'm just not willing to take those chances. But you can see that my aircraft carriers are on the Nagato, right? We can see some torpedoes going in now. The Nagato actually is kind of in my range at this point in time, so we put off a few shots at the Nagato. But we really need to get this enemy destroyer gone. You can see Dorrej here is engaging the enemy destroyer. I believe Dorrej is in a Benson, and Benson or a Liu Yang, I can't quite remember. And then Trucker, of course, is in the Fubuki. So, yeah, we need to get this Benson gone here. I can't have this guy in messing around with my destroyers here. So I'm going to need to do something about this guy. And I'm getting pretty focused on this Benson as well. Not really paying attention anymore to the Nagato. And it's because the Nagato is out there. You can see him out behind some islands, right? So, not really paying attention. So I do manage to take out the enemy Benson, so that's fantastic. We've got that player gone, so excellent. If we look at the mini-map, we can see that my team controls A, C, and D. We never actually made it into B, but we do have a pretty good command of the 3 points that we have. I know over there at D they are under some air attack right now, but there's no enemy ships in there actually at this point in time to contest the cap, so we're still gaining points, which is interesting. Something I wanted to mention while this is playing out here, we were talking about it in the TeamSpeak channel with the clan here. Keep in mind, if you ever do want to join NGA Gaming, I've always got the recruitment link in my video comment section below. It'll take you to the website. You go ahead and fill up the application. One of the recruiters, most likely DeathScythe, is going to get in touch with you, and then give you the TES info and all that lovely stuff. But anyway, one thing that was being discussed in TeamSpeak was whether or not your airplanes should be able to cap the zone. And it is interesting. I don't know. I can't say either way if I would want to see it. I think it is interesting, and I think it has some merit. The argument was that, if you put your airplanes over the cap zone and you have air superiority over that zone, the plane should be able to cap the zone. Yeah, but I think that makes the aircraft carriers really overpowered. But then, and that's what I said in the channel, but then, it could be mitigated by saying, well, it takes longer for the airplanes to actually cap the zone, and all you need is one enemy ship or, one enemy aircraft squadron to come in. The aircraft squadron would come in and get air superiority, which would give you guys the cap back, your team the cap back. Or if one of your allied ships entered into the point, much like it is now, the point would immediately become contested and no longer earn points. So there's that. I'm just curious to know what your thoughts are on it, because we were discussing it. I think it's interesting anyway to consider. Now that being said, some potential changes being said, excellent segue here into the patch. The patch has come out today for ships, new patch. I haven't actually gotten to play it myself, so I'm getting this video up and then I'm going to try out the new patch. I know there's definitely new maps that I want to see. There's a lot of new changes to the ships I want to see. I really want to see the Hipper with the Atlantic bow. I cannot wait for that. I find the changes that they're making, or that they made to some of the German cruisers, right, giving them a C hull with upgraded AA, but potentially losing your fighter aircraft and maybe some torpedoes. I think this is interesting as well. So it's going to be cool to see. Now that being said, there weren't many videos in the last few days, right? I'm actually going to try and get out a second video today. It will be later today, I'm telling you that now. It's going to be probably after supper my time. So that's Atlantic time, so I don't know what that converts to your time, but that just, heads up on that one. But I'll try and get a second one out today anyway, just to take a look at the patch, discuss it a bit, and maybe get a battle or two going. But anyway, firing off at the buddy in the background, right? I wasn't too concerned about the buddy. The buddy is, it is a decent tier 6 cruiser. I'm not too disappointed with it. And there we go, I die. Yeah, that was the Nagato. Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention to the Nagato. I forgot all about that Nagato player, and that was my downfall. But luckily for me, I'm in a division here with Dorrej and Trucker, who are really good ship players. So I don't have really any concerns about not being able to win this match. We do have a significant lead in points at this time, but it's still close enough where you could say, or where the enemy ships could do something and actually win this, but they're not going to. I mean, again, if you look at the minimap, you can see that, you know, playing aggressively as a team here really did work out for us, because we've kind of corralled the entire, or whatever is remaining of the enemy team. We corralled them to the southern portion of the map. All of the enemy ships are fairly far away from actually being able to take a cap, and you can see that my team is actually now capping the B zone, so we're going to have all 4 caps here shortly. So this is pretty damn fantastic. It does happen when you play aggressively like this as a team. That's the key point. As a team, you can kind of corral whatever is left, or whatever comprises the enemy team, corral them to the south or the north of the map, wherever, corral them somewhere on the map where they aren't able to get out and actually cap a zone, right? And in our case here, it's really working out well. Now you can see over at D, some enemies are slipping through, right? And they're pushing on to that D point. Doesn't really matter though. I mean, we don't have to have all 4 caps, right? It's nice, but we don't have to have them all. We are still in an excellent position here, even if they take the D point, to still win it. To still take victory out of this as well, so that's pretty great. So we saw Dorrej got himself a kill there, so fantastic. Good job, Dorrej. Get himself a kill, and he's going to start maneuvering around here, trying to get over to this Nagato. Yes, the Nagato. I really wanted the Nagato gone. Not only did he kill me, bane of my existence, mostly this entire match, but the Nagato is, you know, a really nice target to take out in terms of points. It's a battleship. So you're going to get a lot of points for taking out this Nagato, and that is going to go a long way to give us the victory that we want. And it might even be enough points to just tip us over, you know, by the time Dorrej gets there and kills the Nagato here. It might be enough points to tip us over and give us that victory that we want. So that would be pretty fantastic. Now, I did forget, because, you know, I'm talking about stuff, forget to point out the part where I effectively used my radar ability on the New Orleans. It was when we were fighting off against that Benson, right? Anyway, that, you know, leads me into the radar ability. I really enjoy this radar ability, obviously. I don't think there'd be anyone who would say that they didn't enjoy it, revealing all the enemy ships on the map. I like the way it works too, because, to be honest, this was my first battle where I actually used it, and I didn't exactly know how it was going to work. So I waited until I knew that there was an enemy destroyer, because I'm spotted, and I you know, ping it, basically. But I really liked how it, in my mind, it kind of, I picture it as a ping, right? The ping going out from the ship, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and as that bubble goes around, right, the radar bubble, we start spotting enemy ships, and I liked the way it did that. I didn't want to just press the button and then suddenly have all of the enemy ships pop up. I like that there's a range to it, that it's not it's not as overpowered as maybe I would have thought. You know, just revealing all the enemy ships on the map all at once type thing. So I like the way that this radar ability is working, and I really think that it adds a whole new sort of life to these American cruisers, because I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of players in the game who just are not satisfied with the American cruisers as they are now. And keep in mind that this was recorded before today's patch, right? So there are a lot of people who are disillusioned with those American cruisers, and I get it. I get it. I mean, the New Orleans, I'm starting to like the New Orleans, but, you know, and my experience with the ship is limited. Right, so there's that, and I mean, I hadn't played it for a while, so it was just nice, and I found it refreshing to play a different type of cruiser. So that's mostly why, you know, I'm enjoying it right now. But for those, you know, hardcore players who have been playing and grinding the American cruisers up since closed beta or, you know, alpha, for example, you know, they might not be as satisfied. Anyway, we do have torpedoes on the way for the Nagato. You can see Dorrej just popped smoke, came to a stop so he can do some invisifiring here, and the torpedoes are on the way for the Nagato. Now, we know these torpedoes are going to hit. There we go. Nagato is dead, battle is over, and we have won. Fantastic. This was a great game, I thought, anyway. I mean, even though I died, I mean, it doesn't bother me that I died, but I just thought that it worked out really well for the team, right? Because the team was very aggressive here. And you can see I did not finish very well at all. Dorrej was 3rd overall, though, so good job, Dorrej. But you can see the team was very aggressive, and that sort of push the enemy back. And that's sort of what I wanted to illustrate today. Just, you can get lucky playing aggressively, and you can have some really good results playing aggressively. I think it's just a little more risky than if you were to play a little more cautiously and keep in mind your hit point conservation tactics, right? Anyway, that is today's video. I do hope you enjoy it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.